Good morning. What a terrific turnout we've got this morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to the 24th Annual Report to the Community by the Community Foundation, which of course means we're in our 25th year or quarter century of service to this community. My name's Art Cooley, and it's my privilege to serve as the chairman of the board of directors this year of your Community Foundation. You may have noticed this year we've got such a terrific crowd that we did away with the name tags to try and save a little time and getting everyone in the room, so that means you are all here anonymously. We do hope, however, that our board members remember their name tags. They're your table hosts, so please get to know the board member at your table. Feel free to ask them any questions about the foundation. If they don't have the answer readily, they'll be glad to put you in touch with a staff person that can help you. Now that you've gotten seated and comfortable, I'd like to ask you all to please stand and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And it's my pleasure to ask the Reverend Sally Dolch if she would give us the invocation today.
Good afternoon, or is it morning yet? We'll get there together, I think, today. I invite you now to pause for a moment and reflect on this day and this time we have together. May grace abound as we honor this gathering of people of goodwill, people of compassion, united in love of neighbor and united in hope for our community. Let us pray. Author of grace and our eternal guide, as we make our pilgrimage through this life, shed your light upon our way, lest we slip or go astray. Speak to us in the recorded witness of synagogue and church, that through the Spirit's interpretation of the Scriptures we may find direction and strength. For we have found unity in this work we do, linked together by the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, empowering those who are blessed to give and those who are blessed to receive, to live lives more whole and more full than any one might live without the other. This day we lift up the collective work of the leaders and the followers, the staff members of so many organizations and the volunteers, all people of grace. We lift them up for scrutiny and for celebration. There is power in our unity and a common spirit that binds us together today. May our time together be an inspiration and a blessing for all. And may the food we are provided nourish our bodies and our souls. In the name of God we pray. Amen.
We have some business to conduct today, so I would like to get started. You know, I thought I was a pretty big cheese being chairman of the Community Foundation's board and running this event until just a moment ago when my wife had asked me to get up and go get a pitcher of water and serve the table. So kind of put me right back in my place. But I'd like to begin today by introducing the directors of the Community Foundation, our board of directors for you. They are responsible for carrying out the mission and the purpose of our foundation. As I call your name, if the directors would please stand and remain standing, and please hold your applause until the end. Al Balfany, Jackie Cassidy, Jane Corcoran, Anne Marie Dickerson, Charles Gosley, Shirley Hyman Parker, Bruce Moore, Jim Morris, Dr. Susan North, Joe Ollinger, Susan Purnell, Brian Shockley, John Stern, Don Taylor, Lou Taylor, Ray Thompson, And the directors unable to be with us today are Jim Allman, Jay Berge, Terry Blades, Karen Lishik, Melody Nelson, Pam Stanzel, Dr. Thelma Thompson, and Jeff Turner. Please join me in thanking your board of directors. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge and thank members of our board who are retiring from the board of directors. Their commitment to the governance and the promotion of the foundation is much appreciated. Pam Stanzel retires after serving since 2005, and Pam is also a member of the Community Needs Grants Committee. Dr. Thelma Thompson retires after 6 years of service from 2002 to 2008. Dr. Thompson also served on the Frank Morris Humanitarian Award Committee and the Richard Henson Award of Excellence Committee. But our Endurance Award goes to Dr. Susan North. Susan retires after serving 12 years, 4 3-year terms, which is the maximum allowed by our bylaws. She is also a longstanding member of the Community Needs Grants Committee. Pam and Thelma are unable to join us today, but I'd like to ask Susan to come forward and accept a small token of our appreciation for her many years of service to the Community Foundation. Susan? At this point, I'd like to call the annual meeting of the corporate members of the Community Foundation to order. First order of business is the report of the membership committee. Jeff Turner is chairman of our membership committee, but Jeff's unable to be with us today. He and his lovely wife Dottie are in the Dominican Republic, having a good time. I called him Tuesday night and asked him if he could hustle back for this meeting, but he declined, unfortunately. I would like to thank the other members of the committee for their fine work in helping with this process. Those members, along with Jeff, include Jay Berge, Charles Gosley, Melody Nelson, Ray Shockley, and myself. On behalf of the membership committee, I'm pleased to recommend to you 3 outstanding individuals for membership on the board of directors of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. Would the nominees please stand when I call them and remain standing, and please hold your applause. Will Kathleen McLean please stand? Kathleen is the general manager of WMDT TV 47. She's been active in her support in the local community by serving as a volunteer or board member for such organizations as Salisbury Urban Ministries, Peninsula Regional Health Council, Deers Head Citizens Advisory Board, Women Supporting Women, Wicomico County Tourism Advisory Board, the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club of Salisbury, and the Greater Salisbury Committee, where she has just completed her term as chairperson. Will Lauren Taylor please stand? Lauren is a resident of both Somerset and Worcester counties. Her past board experience includes Peninsula Regional Hospital Foundation, Friends of Coastal Hospice, the United Way, and Somerset County Historic Trust. Lauren is the past president of the Ocean City Chamber of Commerce and was the recipient of the Spirit of Ocean City Award. Lauren currently serves on the Board of Visitors for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, the Ocean City Economic Development Committee, and serves on the Community Foundation's Excellence in Education Committee. Would Ernest Satchel please stand? Ernie is a native of Virginia's Eastern Shore. He is currently the chair of the Fine Arts Department at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, where he's been teaching since 1971. As an artist specializing in ceramics, Ernie has presented at a number of solo and invitational shows and is an active supporter of the Clay Guild on the Lower Shore. He's a charter member of the Somerset County Arts Council and a past board member of the Somerset County Board of Education. Could I please have a motion to elect our 3 new directors? And a second? Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Please welcome our new directors. Secondly, I'm pleased to have this opportunity to submit the following board members for re-election to an additional 3-year term. Would those members who are present please stand and remain standing? Terry Blades, Jackie Cassidy, Charles Gosley, Shirley Hyman Parker, Karen Lishik, Jim Morris, Susan Purnell, and Ray Thompson. Could I please have a motion to re-elect these directors? And a second? Thanks. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Please, let's give our thanks to these directors for continuing to serve. And finally, I submit the following names to serve on the 2009 Membership Committee: Jay Berge, Art Cooley, Charles Gosley, Melody Nelson, Ray Shockley, and Jeffrey Turner. Could I please have a motion for their appointment? And a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Joe Ollinger, who is Treasurer of the Community Foundation, to review the fiscal year 2008 audit and introduce the investment report. Joe?
Thanks, Art. Good afternoon. Accounting firm Trice, Gary & Myers, LLC, conducted the Foundation's fiscal year 2008 independent audit. As in all prior years, the auditors issued an unqualified audit opinion which indicates the financial statements fairly reflect the financial position of the Community Foundation. Summary financial statements can be found on page 30 and 31 of the annual report. Comprehensive financial statements are available at the Foundation's office. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to accept the 2008 audit. Those in favor, please say aye. Thank you. The Audit Committee and Board are recommending the engagement of Trice, Gary & Myers, LLC, Certified Public Accountants, as the Community Foundation's independent auditor for fiscal year 2009. I would like to ask for a motion to accept the recommendation of the Audit Committee and the Board as presented. Thanks, Lou. Second? Marty? Thank you. Those in favor, please say aye. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Scott George, Chief Investment Officer of Mason Investment Advisory Services, who will provide us with an overview of our fiscal 2008 investment results. Scott? Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Joe. Well, good afternoon. We are very happy to be a sponsor of your annual meeting today. Mason Investment Advisory Services is a financial planning and investment management firm. We're located in Reston, Virginia. We're a private national firm with clients in 35 states. We now have community foundations across the country in several states, and we started working with our first community foundation a little over 10 years ago. And that community foundation was this one right here. And it really is a special place in our hearts, I must tell you, as we've gotten to know people around here. I've personally enjoyed the opportunity to get to know many of you, and it's really gratifying for us to be able to come here and try to use our skills to help you where so many people will benefit in your community. This has been a challenging year, and it's no secret to anybody. The fiscal year ended June 30, 2008. The return of the Foundation's portfolio was negative 2.6%. First time it had been negative since 2002. By way of comparison, the S&P 500 was negative 13%. So despite a very challenging environment, which, by the way, became a little bit more challenging as the fall wore on, we've been able to continue to experience a significant amount of downside protection in the way the portfolio has been structured. In fact, each quarter the Council on Foundations, which is based in Washington, D.C., does a survey of community foundations across the country, and this allows us to compare our results for with everyone else's. For the same period ended June 30, 1980, we were in the top quartile of all community foundations that responded to the survey across the country. It's about 160 community foundations. Even better, if you compare community foundations of the same size, same asset size as this one here on the Eastern Shore, we rank number 1 in the 3, 5, and 10-year trailing periods of time. Just like 2001 and 2002, which I know are fresh in our memories, investment policy has moved back to the top of the agenda on community foundations around the country. This fall has been one of the most challenging times in history, not only for our country, but for the entire world. On a year-to-date basis, we saw the U.S. stock market dip below 40% in October. Believe it or not, this is not the biggest decline we've seen. Both the bear markets of 72 and 74 and the bear market that started in the year 2000 were worse on a percentage basis. We're about 13 months into this bear market, and when it will end and how far it will go is no one can predict. Just as now, each of these previous declines was caused by different events. Think back to the oil embargo of the early 70s, caused a huge bear market. OPEC had decided they weren't going to sell oil to the Western world. We were going to be shivering in our homes, sitting in the dark, riding bicycles and driving small cars. It changed the world entirely. The S&L crisis of the 80s. Banks literally closed their doors, wouldn't give depositors their money back. If you had a checking account, your checks bounced. We never thought we'd see something like that again after the Great Depression. Remember long-term capital management run by economic Nobel Prize winners. Nearly froze up capital markets around the world. That, combined with the Russian and Asian debt default, had created an amazing situation where markets decline even more than we've seen so far today. And of course, no one's forgotten the tech bubble bursting or the attacks on our country at the beginning of this decade. Each of these crises was unprecedented. Each one was different. This one is different, and it's always different. Your community foundation, through the hard work of your investment committee, has developed a very disciplined investment policy statement. These people are good giving members of your community that are donating their times and skills to the foundation, and they are very serious about their fiduciary responsibilities. We believe at Mason that the investment policy statement follows current best practices for a prudent investor. Now it is as important as ever to follow our long-term disciplined investment strategy. This plan was designed to assure that your community foundation will be able to continue to meet its mission forever. So we formed this policy for good times and bad, and that's why we do that. It's so wonderful to see what community foundations around the country have been able to accomplish, and you all should be very proud to be a part of it, and we thank you for allowing us to be a part of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate the support you and your staff have provided over the years in helping us both craft and manage our investment policy. It's served our fund holders well and our community well. You know, during the worst of times this summer, I remember hearing a pundit on one of the TV shows, CNBC or something, saying there were only two positions to have in the market like this, cash and fetal. I think I like our diversification strategy better. That concludes the business portion of our meeting of the corporate members of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. At your table at each place was an annual report. I'd like to draw your attention to that. Our theme this year is 25 years of charitable leadership. I encourage you to take it with you. Please read it and please share it with a friend. I'd like to thank our sponsors of both the annual report and the annual meeting, Mason Investment Advisory Services, Arby's of Salisbury, Delmarva Recycling, First Shore Federal Savings and Loan, Raymond and Brian Shockley, attorneys at law, PNC Bank, Francis Scott Key Family Resort, Pam and Mackie Stanzel, and PKS and Company Public Accountants. They're acknowledged on the inside back cover of the annual report and on the back of your program today. Just a couple of noteworthy comments on the inside front cover. It highlights some of the more significant events for the foundation during the past year. Our assets at June 30th were $68.2 million. I wish they still were. The foundation received $4.6 million in gifts last year, and we gave out 1,095 grants totaling nearly $3.2 million. And here's our big check symbolically recognizing that. Included with your report are a letter and an envelope for our annual appeal, and I'd like to just make a couple of comments about that. The annual appeal is not new, but it is very different this year. For many years, we've asked our donor base at this time of year to support the Foundation's administrative fund in order to help us defray operating costs. Last year, for the first time, we modified the annual appeal to offer donors the opportunity to direct their contribution to other funds held at the Foundation to support their favorite charity or cause. This year is unique. This past summer, at a forum for agencies that provide human services to seniors and families in need, we were made aware of a startling increase in the demand for these services because of the changing economic conditions. They stressed the need for additional cash resources for direct aid now. In response, the Community Foundation's Board of Directors voted to establish the Help Your Neighbor campaign as the focus of this year's annual appeal. The board also agreed that the Foundation would offer a matching grant for the first $10,000 raised to support the campaign. 100% of the funds donated, plus the matching grant, will be divided among an assortment of agencies on the Lower Shore that have a proven record of assisting seniors and families. Some of these organizations have a supporter donor base of their own, and some do not. Some are partially funded by the United Way, and others are not. They all need additional funds in these tough times. It is vitally important that you continue to directly support these organizations and continue to directly support the United Way as you have traditionally, and to do so generously this year. It is also important to continue to support the Community Foundation through our annual appeal, with the knowledge that this year's donation will draw matching funds and all the proceeds will be promptly returned to the community to help meet this overwhelming need. You may use the envelope included with your program for the donation, or now that we're technologically savvy, you can go online to cfes.org and make a credit card donation through our website. Charitable leadership is the theme of this year's annual report, and there were two particularly relevant examples of this during the past year. You'll find references to them on pages 8 and 17, but that doesn't tell the whole story. The Worcester County Developmental Center, serving developmentally disabled clients, lost their daycare facility to a fire a little over a year ago. The Community Foundation, in an effort to help them get back in operation as soon as possible, promptly conceived and established the Emergency Fund Campaign and offered a grant to match the first $10,000 raised in the community. This leadership effort sparked a response from donors across the Lower Shore and resulted in over $150,000 being raised for the cause. Secondly, our new board member, Kathleen McLean, general manager of WMDT, secured a $10,000 grant from Oprah's Big Give to foster charitable support in the community. She approached the Community Foundation to discuss how to maximize this opportunity. The foundation matched that $10,000 with $10,000 of its own funds and joined WMDT in presenting a $20,000 matching challenge to the community at large for the benefit of the Wicomico County Child Advocacy Center. That effort raised over $65,000. Whether initiating a new program or collaborating with another organization or donor to maximize opportunities, the Community Foundation is truly a leader in the philanthropic community on the Lower Shore. One of the pleasures of being chairman is that at this meeting each year you have the opportunity to give a chairman's award. This award is given to an individual for outstanding service to the Community Foundation. This year's Chairman's Award recipient is serving his fourth three-year term as a member of the Board of Directors of the Community Foundation. As a board member, our recipient tends to listen as others express their thoughts and then offer a well-thought-out opinion in a calm, deliberative manner. He is fiscally cautious and, as the former president of a good-sized financial institution, brings a wealth of knowledge and leadership to the table. Through his guidance, his former employer has been one of the most generous corporate donors on the Lower Shore and has long been involved with the Community Foundation. He also generously gives his time to serve on several standing committees, including the Investment Committee, the Richard Henson Award of Excellence Committee, and to chair the Membership Committee. I'm sure if I'd told him when I called him Tuesday night that I was going to give him this award, he would certainly have hustled right back from the Dominican Republic. I'm sorry he's not here to share this moment, but it's still my great pleasure to announce this year's recipient of the Chairman's Award to Jeff Turner, former president of Peninsula Mercantile Bank, now PMC. This time I'd like to call on the president of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, Spicer Bell.
Thank you, Art. What a wonderful crowd. Are you glad to be here today? I commented to someone as I was walking around a while ago, we've been getting lots of bad news lately, but I promise you, we're not going to give you any bad news today. This is a good news celebration, the success of 25 years of charitable giving leadership. But it's your energy, your support of the Community Foundation, your giving spirit that has made that 25 years possible. And for that, we are all blessed. I'd like to begin today with some important recognitions. First, I'd like to recognize and thank our board chairman. Art Cooley has been a member of our board for about 10 years. He's completing his second year as chairman of the board. Under Art's leadership, the foundation has strengthened our ties to the community, grown our grant programs, expanded our nonprofit support center. We should all be grateful to Art for his dedication and leadership. Art, we thank you. You've met our board. They are the leading leadership of our team. Our board members are truly dedicated to the health and growth of this foundation. Their work is supported by dozens of volunteers who serve on our committees and give countless hours of support to the foundation. They serve this foundation and this community very, very effectively. Please join me once again in giving our appreciation to our board and volunteers. I'm really fortunate to be able to work with a truly outstanding staff. And I'd like to introduce them and ask them to stand when they're introduced. Erica Joseph, over here, is our program officer. Gary Martin, I think is over here, is our chief finance officer. Nancy Owen is our assistant program officer. Nancy's in the back. David Plotz over here is our assistant finance officer, the newest member of our staff. Pat Strasberg is our office administrator. I think most of you have met her. She's the voice you get when you call, that's for sure. B.J. Summers is our donor relations officer. And G. Williams is our director of marketing and development. There he is, over here. We also this year have enjoyed working with 3 college student interns. 2 of them are with us here today, Amber Schaefer and Samantha Sedano. We're fortunate to have a staff that is truly dedicated to the work of the foundation, and they really are and demonstrate team spirit. Please join me in recognizing the staff of the Community Foundation. I also want to express my deepest appreciation to you, all the people here, because you and the ones you represent, our donors, our volunteers, our sponsors, our nonprofit and faith-based partners, our friends in the community. It is you who make the good work of the foundation possible. You make this big check over here. Once again, over $3 million last year in gifts, grants, and scholarships. You make that kind of work in the community possible. I'd also like to express my special appreciation to a group of corporate sponsors. They have been partners for the foundation in a variety of ways. But this year they stepped forward and are sponsoring our 25th anniversary activities, including today's meeting and a variety of other activities, as well as a 25th anniversary party, which we hope you all have on your calendar, which will be here at the Fountains on May 8th, 2009. Our corporate sponsors for our 25th anniversary are Avery Hall Insurance, I think are over here, BB&T Bank, it's represented today, Delmarva Power, and the Mason Investment Advisory Services. We really thank them for making this whole year of celebration possible for all of us. I also want to recognize another important partner for us, and that's our friends at PAC 14. For those of you who live in the Salisbury area, you see our program, Community Foundation Spotlight, regularly on PAC 14, and they are once again this year taping this program for rebroadcast, so the citizens who are shut in or not able to be here with us will have an opportunity to participate in this event. We thank everyone at PAC 14. On a sadder note, this year we lost two wonderful friends of the foundation. I'd like to take a few moments to honor them on their passing. Dick Hazel truly loved this community and believed in the power of philanthropy. Dick quietly and steadfastly set an example for all of us to follow. He particularly believed in the importance of helping young people get their lives off to the right start. Through Dick's gifts to this foundation and to other Lower Shore institutions, he has impacted the lives of thousands of area youth. Dick will be missed, but I assure you we will continue to be inspired by his vision. Elizabeth Brittingham Pusey was a quiet lady. She began her philanthropic journey with the Community Foundation with a series of anonymous gifts to a scholarship fund. She sought no recognition for her generosity, and in fact, she was very shy in accepting thanks, even when it was expressed privately. She too believed she could make a difference by investing in the lives of young people, and in that way, changing and improving the Lower Shore for the better. On her passing, Mrs. Pusey created the largest single scholarship fund ever established with our foundation. Through her generosity, many local youth will have a chance at a college education that they never thought possible. Today, I'm going to depart from my usual format. In fact, I had folks ask me, what stories are you going to tell us today? And I'm going to depart from that. I'm going to let you do the talking. With the generous support of the Kresge Foundation and our 25th anniversary sponsors, we've embarked on an attempt to compile a video library to be used to help others learn about the foundation and the power of philanthropy. We would like to share the first installment of that video with you at this time.
The Community Foundation serves the nonprofit community in a way very similar to how the Chamber of Commerce serves the business community. We're a one-stop resource for financial support and technical assistance.
The core mission of the Community Foundation is to work in Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester counties to encourage and promote charitable giving.
The Community Foundation is the heart of this community. They have provided the nonprofit agencies in this community with the tools they need to serve those with greatest need.
Well, we first learned about the Community Foundation when we were invited to a presentation about its purpose, and we were very impressed.
I think the Community Foundation allows many people to contribute money to one good sometimes. You don't have to have a huge amount of money to participate. Anyone really can.
The Community Foundation is a remarkable success story we love to share with the community. Over our 24-year history, local donors have given over $55 million to our foundation. We've given back $32 million to the community in gifts, grants, and scholarships.
The Community Foundation has really stepped up when we had a generous donation, a life-changing, a name-changing donation by Mr. Dick Hazel in investing $2 million and giving us finances that will sustain us for a lifetime.
Two terms you'll often hear us use are leveraging and perpetuity. We hold a percentage of those funds, invest them, and that way they're going to be here to continue to do good for generations to come.
the most rewarding parts of being a member of the Community Foundation is I've been able to develop a way that we can continue giving and we can teach our children, which we're trying to do as well, how to leave a legacy and have it impact your community directly. My father passed away about 6 years ago with cancer. That's kind of what opened the door to me, and I would recommend don't wait until a tragedy happens. Be a part of your community now. Leave your legacy now.
It's been a tremendous investment as far as we're concerned, and it has been very heartwarming to know that we're able to contribute to the community, and that once we are not here any longer, the legacy of our fund will be available for the community to use in the way that they see fit. It makes you feel good inside when you know that you've been able to support someone else who was perhaps less fortunate than you are.
As part of our mission, we educate donors on needs in our community, and then we try to connect them with programs and organizations in our community that best serve their charitable interests.
A lot of us are not fundraisers. We didn't know where to start. The Community Foundation helps us create a plan. The Community Foundation teaches us the steps we need to not just gather fundraisers, but gather friends, and that's probably one of the most important things that we've learned.
Not only has Community Foundation assisted us financially, but we have also attended their workshops, both in grant writing and to the community college in Salisbury.
The Maryland Coastal Bays Program has been here in Worcester County for 10 years, and we work with commercial and recreational fishermen, farmers, developers, scientists, and our job is to protect the coastal bays in a common sense way that everyone kind of agrees with and everyone can actually do, so we can get things done in a timely manner to clean up the coastal bays. For those interested in the environment, I would definitely encourage them to get involved with the Community Foundation because they've been so good to us. For those who have an interest in conservation, whether it's wildlife, whether it's water quality, whether it's clean energy, the Community Foundation is probably the place to go to put those dollars to the best use.
The Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore has been a major contributor to the Sturgis One Room School Museum. When we got started, the foundation gave us a grant. The Sturgis One Room School Museum is an African American one room school. It is a part of history that we, the organization, try to preserve. History is an important part of the heritage of the Eastern Shore. If you have any kind of historical project that you're working on, I urge you to get in contact with the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore.
This year, we'll distribute $185,000 in scholarship awards to over 100 local students. Establishing a scholarship fund at the Community Foundation is an opportunity to memorialize a loved one or create a lasting legacy.
In 2002, my senior year of high school, I applied for the Pat and Dick Hazel Minority Scholarship through the Community Foundation. What makes this scholarship very unique is that for every year you receive it, you commit to a year of teaching on the Lower Eastern Shore, and I'm in my second year teaching at Pocomoke Elementary School, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 or more. If you have ever thought about how you can give back to your community, either with financial donations or with time, I can think of no better way than the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore.
One of the main thrust of the Community Foundation in order to get money into it is through our professional partners. In my practice of law, I encountered several people who were looking for vehicles to create endowments, and not only for themselves but for the charities of the Lower Shore. When I'm dealing with my respective clients regarding the disposition of their estate at their death primarily, and also other individuals who are interested in making charitable donations, I do not hesitate to discuss with them the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore.
As a financial planning professional, I would encourage anyone who is trying to get their estate in order to communicate with the Community Foundation and find out what they offer. I think the convenience is excellent, the professionalism, and to know that they're going to be here forever in perpetuity.
In September of 2007, the Worcester County Developmental Center Day Program facility experienced a fire, and we were totally burned out. The Community Foundation was able to raise $151,000 for us to use in our efforts to rebuild. From the technical mini grant to the trainings at the Community Foundation, and not to mention, of course, the emergency fund after our fire, the Community Foundation has been with us through thick and thin, and we exist in part because of our relationship with the Community Foundation.
For over 25 years, the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore has been a powerful vehicle for community improvement on the Lower Shore, working throughout Somerset, Wicomico, and Worcester counties by motivating donors, increasing charitable giving, and providing a vehicle for philanthropists to make a real difference in our community. We have been a leader for improving the quality of life for tens of thousands of our local citizens. And thank you for taking time to learn about the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. The rest is up to you. Thank you. I think you all really do say it better than I do. I want to thank everyone who's participated in that project in helping us to share our passion for the good work of the Foundation. It's also my pleasure to announce today, as a component of our 25th anniversary, what we're calling the 25th Anniversary Community Partnership Prize. This will be a grant award program, and the grants will be awarded at our birthday party in May. Those grants will recognize organizations that initiate innovative partnerships and collaborative efforts that will improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of the local nonprofit community. This is particularly important in challenging times like these. Based on our preliminary announcement of the prize, we are already engaged in exciting inquiries about possible programs and look forward to working with organizations who are interested in participating. I'd like to conclude by looking forward to our next 25 years for the Foundation. We all know that we are now enduring the most challenging economic times our country has experienced in the last 60 years, the most challenging in the history of this Foundation. We're facing an increasing demand for services from the nonprofit sector, and fewer resources to go around. Even though we are facing these serious times, I think we have to face the reality. We are still here. The Foundation is still here. And we are all going to be here for the long haul in the form of the Foundation. We're going to be here for another 25 years and beyond. That's the strength and the beauty of the Community Foundation concept. This foundation will outlive all of us and will continue the legacy that we have all been a part of establishing. The size of this audience in the room today is an example of that. You are part of the largest annual meeting group that we have ever assembled for this foundation. The energy in this room will carry forward and is a good indication of the future of our foundation. We have far more people here than ever before. Our support in the community remains strong. Our commitment to our mission and our resolve has never been stronger. I'll maintain to you there are 4 characteristics of this foundation that have become hallmarks of its operations over our first 24 years. They have sustained us and they will sustain us in the future. They are, first, our regional approach. We truly represent and care for the entire Lower Shore. We have a focus on a long-term vision. It's a vision that was passed to us by our founders and has never been abandoned. This foundation has been characterized over the years by innovative thinking and innovative programs. This foundation has consistently been a model for other community foundations to follow. And finally, there's our dogged persistence. We have some of our founders in the room today, and it is the dogged persistence that they began with that has been carried on by subsequent board members and staff. And I maintain to you that nothing will prevail in times of hardship like dogged persistence. And I assure you, on behalf of our board, on behalf of our staff, our donors, and all those who support the foundation with their time, treasures, and prayers, we will persevere. We will stay focused on our vision. We will continue to be innovative, and we will get through these times and continue to build a brighter future for the Lower Shore. Today and in the coming year, each of us must continue to remind ourselves of the need for a strong community foundation. I ask each of you to join in our resolve to take our hand and join in the work that we have before us. Because if we continue forward together, I assure you, we will be successful. Thank you all for being here today. We thank you for your support of the foundation, and we look forward to partnering with you in the future. And now, on to our awards. Each year, the Community Foundation is honored to present a couple of what we think are very significant awards for the nonprofit community. The first of these awards is honoring Richard A. Henson. And I would like to note, we do have Senator Richard Colburn here with us today. And I think we also have Delegate James Mathias is here with us representing the state legislature. And Senator Colburn has brought along Senate citations that will be presented also to each of our award winners today. I'd also like to thank and express my appreciation for First Shore Federal Savings and Loan Association for their special support of the Henson Award program this year. The Award of Excellence was established in 1989 to honor Richard A. Henson for all of his generous contributions to our community. The award sets a high standard for nonprofit organizations serving the Lower Shore. The organization selected to receive the award must make an outstanding contribution to the well-being of residents of the Lower Shore, be responding to a significant community need, show ingenuity and innovation in utilizing resources, and demonstrate excellence in board leadership and responsibility. A high standard. Once again this year, many excellent organizations were nominated, making our choice very difficult. In addition to being honored by the Community Foundation, the organization receives a check for $5,000 to support their work. At this time, I'd like to introduce Marty Neat. Marty's former foundation board chairperson and chair of the Richard Henson Award Committee, and he will introduce this year's Henson Award winner.
Thank you, Spicer. It is my pleasure to announce the recipient of the Community Foundation's Award of Excellence honoring Richard A. Henson. This year is the 25th anniversary for the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, and the 20th year during which they have presented this award. The list of past honorees is indeed impressive, reflecting the very best nonprofit agencies that our communities have to offer. It's particularly appropriate, we think, that this award goes to a truly outstanding organization and group of people. But this year we've done better than that. This year we honor not one, but two outstanding organizations. A wise man wrote that the moral test of a community is how it treats those who are least able to protect themselves, those in the dawn of life, the youth, the dusk of life, the aged and infirm, and the shadows of life, the handicapped, the ill, the economically disadvantaged. That test fits these organizations to a T. This year's recipients are both based in Salisbury. Both just celebrated their 20th anniversaries. Each provides for the most fundamental needs of hard-pressed families in our community. We'll ask representatives of each organization to come forward after I've announced both recipients. I'm also very pleased to announce that the annual award of $5,000 given to the recipient has been matched by First Shore Federal, so that both recipients will receive a $5,000 award this year. We know that both organizations will use that money very well. Our first honoree was incorporated in 1988. Its mission is to provide safe transitional housing for women and dependent children, and to provide medical care to uninsured and underinsured individuals over the age of 18. Clients who receive these services are treated as partners, expected and urged to set personal goals, to seek to attain self-sufficiency through education and job training, financial counseling, and personal improvement workshops. Residents are required to be drug-free and employed or to attend schools. They may stay in the facility or program for up to 2 years. In the last year, this organization provided more than 8,200 bed nights for 20 previously homeless women and their 29 children. And the agency also provided more than 8,000 served more than 8,000 patients in the primary medical care clinic for the medical underserved. The clinic accepts all adult patients for initial and follow-up care, regardless of ability to pay, and works through the local medical network to provide adequate service for those individuals. This agency has a rich tradition of working with other local organizations to maximize the impact of its services, prevent duplication, and stretch its resources. In fact, it was formerly a subsidiary organization of a Henson Award-winning organization. Our first honoree today, and again I ask you to come forward in a few moments, is the Village of Hope. Our second recipient today was founded in 1987. It is dedicated to breaking the cycle of poverty by building homes, building families, and building neighborhoods. It serves low and moderate income working families, often single-parent families or people facing unusual circumstances. I'm reminded of Peter Bailey in the Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life, when he says, "It's deep in the race for a man to want his own roof and walls and fireplace, and we're helping them get those things." Homeownership is still an American dream, and that's what this organization fundamentally provides, a path to a decent, affordable home through interest-free mortgages. Let me just say here, though, that being a banker, that interest-free thing makes me a little bit nervous. But this agency understands that simply giving their patient or their clients a home is not the answer. They must have the tools to become a responsible homeowner and citizen. These homeowners are prepared for those responsibilities. They complete financial fitness workshops in a homeownership class. They also invest their own resources, $2,000 of their own funds for settlement, and up to $300 of sweat equity on their home or another home. This organization has demonstrated strong leadership by expanding into the neighborhoods of Salisbury, making substantial progress in one of the most economically challenged neighborhoods, Church Street, working with other organizations such as the city, Salisbury Neighborhood Housing Service, Urban Salisbury, and a host of others, and in the private sector, working with banks and realtors and builders and other groups to have a real impact. And impressively, they've mobilized the community. During the past year, more than 4,900 volunteer hours were provided by their volunteers. One highlight was their Women's Build, a new home built largely by women with funds raised and contributed largely by women. And it even has its own retail outlet, which sells new and gently used donated building materials to the public. That's expected to net $100,000 for their program this year. Because of their efforts, more than 50 homeowners are added in Salisbury, and more than 150 people were living in their own home. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 25, verse 40, "Whatever you do for the least of these, my brethren, you do for me." Both of these organizations live in accord with that sacred passage. Both recognize that we are indeed our brother's keeper, and we are a far better community because of their service. Ladies and gentlemen, the recipients of the Community Foundation Award of Excellence in honor of Richard A. Henson, the Village of Hope, and Habitat for Humanity of Wicomico County. Come on up, guys. Come on up. Come on up, guys. Congratulations, folks. The Village of Hope.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's always a problem to hand me a microphone. Thank you. On behalf of the Village of Hope Board of Directors, I should begin by saying I'm T.J. Maloney, President of the Village of Hope Board of Directors, and I'm joined by our new Executive Director, Jessica Smith Harper, on my far left, and a very special person who has been with the Village of Hope since the day it opened. And this very wonderful person, who's got more energy than 5 of me, has helped us from the very beginning in the lean times and the good times. Rita Corman has been there from the beginning, and it's people like her who allow us to continue to serve the underserved and the underprivileged in our community. So on behalf of all the members of the board at the Village of Hope and our wonderful staff, thank you for this award.
Congratulations, guys. Yeah.
My name's Chris Barnes, and I'm in week 7 of being the Executive Director of Habitat, so I accept this on behalf of so many people that build our homes, from our volunteers to our donors to the board. I would like to introduce Donna McGill, who's the President of our Board of Directors, and I don't know if you can see her through the... But this is Nancy Rubinson. Nancy is a past executive director and is our development director, and she's the walking encyclopedia for Habitat for Humanity. I can tell you, I lean on her every day. And she's getting ready to step down. So I think more than anybody in the room, she deserves applause for what she's done for our... And thank you very much.
the Frank Morris Humanitarian Award was established by the Community Foundation in 1991. The purpose of this award is to honor Frank Morris's lifetime dedication to humanitarian ideals and to perpetuate the high ethical and moral values and professional standards that Frank exhibited in his personal, professional, and community life. Frank's philanthropic spirit, example of integrity, and compassion for others are values that enhance our community, and they are values that we hold dear and wish to encourage in others. For this reason, the Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award was created. For the past 16 years, this coveted award has been presented to individuals who have made a vital, sustained, unselfish contribution to Lower Shore communities. Individuals who have demonstrated the values, the vision, and the leadership practiced by Frank Morris. In addition to being honored by the foundation, the honoree receives a check for $1,000 for the charity of their choice. At this time, I'd like to introduce Danny Thompson, who will introduce this year's Frank Morris Humanitarian Award recipient.
Thanks, Spicer. The chosen recipient of the 2008 Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award, presented by the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, is a very well-respected individual who not only supports the residents and local organizations, but is very passionate in his commitment and dedication to serve the public. He is a family man devoted to his wife and children. As president and CEO of his business in Crisfield, he is well respected throughout the area. His office staff, whom he treats with dignity, affection, and professionalism, would certainly agree. As a successful business owner, he expresses much integrity with his generosity and significant contributions of donating his time and personal finances. Even during his off hours, you will find him talking to strangers about Crisfield, and how they don't know what they are missing by not visiting his hometown. He serves on the Emmanuel Church Board of Trustees, where his honesty and attention to detail make him an important asset to the congregation. Over the past years, he has taken a leadership role in the renovation of the old St. Peter's Church, a historic site that the church manages. Dating to Revolutionary times, St. Peter's has played an important role in the history and heritage of Somerset County. An active volunteer for over 30 years, he is well known for his kindness and professional leadership in the community. He is never hesitant in donating his time and effort and goes above and beyond volunteering his services to enhance the betterment of the community. Many of the social events include the annual J. Millertall's Crab and Clam Bake, the National Hard Crab Derby, the Scorchy Tall's Pro-Am Fishing Tournament, the previous Terrapin Fish Fry, all events sponsored by the Crisfield Area Chamber of Commerce, in which he has served as president. He is currently chairman of the Finance Committee and member of the Board of Directors for the Crisfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Throughout his life, he has maintained this vision: whatever is good for Crisfield and whatever will make Crisfield a better place to live. In addition to his many other duties, he participates in nonprofit organizations that include the Crisfield Volunteer Fire Department, the Lions Club, the Yacht Club, Salvation Army, and he has also resided as president of the Crisfield Kiwanis Club. He is a great asset to the educational and church community and brings with him much faithfulness and enthusiasm, which are valuable qualities for which he is recognized. He has been a member and leader of the Somerset County Economic Development Commission, committee member for the Tri-County Council Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, the Lower Shore Workforce Alliance, and Warwick Community College. Currently, he is chairman of the McCready Foundation Nursing Home Capital Campaign. He is guiding the building fund to its $1 million goal, and he has personally solicited the largest portion of the $837,000 in cash and pledges raised thus far. His positive attitude, dependability, and cooperation will assist the fundraising campaign and stride them in achieving their $1 million goal. His extensive guidance and cooperation are very instrumental in the accomplishment of such endeavors. By his sincere appreciation and desire for wanting to better the community, I have witnessed him reach into his own pockets many times to set the example for others to follow. Over the years, he has truly been a mentor for me in how to give back to your local community and surrounding region. I have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for an individual that exemplifies the following: has the wisdom to find the need, has the passion to encourage others, has the commitment to lead, and has the humility to remain anonymous, and has the love to share. It has been my honor and pleasure to have worked with him both personally and professionally over the years. Please join me in welcoming John J. Tawes, the recipient of the 2008 Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award.
Now I know why my father-in-law and mother-in-law are here. It had to be a pretty good reason for them to be here. And my mother, fortunately, I'm taking her to go see the Irish Tenors in Baltimore tonight. And this is kind of a stopover because I had to be arm-twisted to come. I teach Sunday school every fourth Sunday. And last Sunday the lesson was on humility. And I think I did a pretty good job, right, Reverend? The Reverend was here. It's hard to stand up here today and to be humble, but it is a very humbling experience that you've all given me. And I don't really want this award because I'm too young. You don't get these kind of awards unless you're an old man. So, but when Danny started reading that off, I knew exactly who it was as I looked around the room. But I do enjoy, as Danny exemplified in his statements, I do enjoy giving. And I just finished a book. And if you get a chance to read it, it's called, Debbie, can you remember the name of that book? I'm a little nervous. The Traveler's Gift. The Traveler's Gifts. And you get a chance to read that. And what it does is kind of tells you how to focus your life and how to be a better person. And when I got through reading that, I said, you know, this is the truth. I'm not woofing you all right now. I got through reading that book, and I said, you know, what I really feel great about, what I enjoy doing is working in the community. I'm not going to turn anybody down that asks me to do something, within reason. And I just was asked to serve on the Marina Commission. Y'all know that the state of Maryland or the DNR has given up the not ownership, but the management. And they've asked me, and my mayor put my name up, and I appreciate my mayor's here today. PJ, thank you very much. And I look so forward to doing that because, you know, my grandfather started that marina, and now 47 years later, I'm going to be kind of part of that management of keeping that marina going, and that's quite an honor for me to be able to do that. One other thing, and I can't get off this podium without saying, did y'all read the Daily Times? You know where you have those top 10s? Did y'all happen to see who was the top 10, number 1 governor in the history of Maryland? It was my grandfather. And I can tell you right now, I was so proud to read that. I mean, I was more proud to read that than to actually be standing up here receiving this award, because I can tell you, he was number 1 governor, and maybe I got a couple of the traits from him, because I know he loved people and he loved the community. So I guess maybe that's where I got part of it. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I'd like to add my thanks to all of our award recipients today, and I'd ask you, if you would please, when we finish today, to come back to the podium. We'd like to get another round of pictures, make sure we've got everybody in good light. I'd like to thank all of you as well for taking the time to join us today, and we look forward to working with you to do more good work in the community, helping the Community Foundation have a positive impact to our Lower Shore area. This time I'd like to call on the Reverend Sally Dolch once again for the benediction.
At this time, we ask the God of all people, the God of our comings and goings, to send us forth this day with our hearts inspired to love our neighbor in new and thoughtful ways, to send us forth to be his community, a community of love and care, where all people are lifted up and all people anticipate a future with hope. By the power of his Spirit, go in peace. Amen.
And thank you, folks. We stand adjourned. Have a nice day.